All right, YouTube, let's do this. Going live in three, two, and we're live. Hello, everybody. It's Matt from RealCoreanBlog.com. Thank you for joining us here on YouTube. Every Monday, we're here live with you, hanging out, talking about the most important thing in the world, which, of course, is going on a Royal Caribbean cruise. I'm here to answer your Royal Caribbean questions for the next 60 minutes, but we're going to start off with the most important question. How many days until your next Royal Caribbean cruise? Type your countdown in chat. Let's count down together. My next Royal Caribbean cruise, well, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about one of them, but it's coming up soon. Star of the Seas, either way. Star of the Seas coming up next month, which is really exciting. I got off Independence of the Seas yesterday, and I am in Copenhagen, Denmark today for a reason I can't talk about yet, but all will be revealed by the time we reconvene here next week. How about that? I'm sure no one's content with that answer, but looking forward to chatting with all of you guys. We had some super chats before the broadcast even began, which is utterly amazing. Thank you to Chris Stell. Chris, thank you for the super chat. Only 12 more chats till the October 5th Oasis of the Seas cruise and 29 days till Icon. Thanks, Matt, for all you do to make the time between cruises bearable. And thanks to Jen Green at MEI Travel. Well, Chris, glad to have you here. Thank you for the super chat. Always appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for that. And Captain Bob Dickens. Captain Bob, thank you for the super chat. I can't wait to get back to your regular scheduled broadcasting time. Still checking out a railway selling less than 60 days. Still nothing. If you're under 60, Bob, I would think you're going to be very close to it. Thank you for the super chat. But it will show up there. It's got to. You're in that window of time now where it seems almost super likely for it to occur. Donna, thank you for the super chat. Video game controller jumps up and down excitedly. Thank you, Donna, for your support. Appreciate that. And Donna wrote, Matt, thanks for all you do. 5 days till Icon. We want the later cleaning. Could we make a time with them or specifically evening only? Good question. It's not a specific time. You either choose morning or evening. And when it comes to the evening service, Donna, they work around your schedule. So number one, they'll try to get to your room when you're not in the cabin, like when you're at dinner. That's the most common time for that. So if your stateroom attendant comes by and you're still in the room getting ready because you have a late dinner or vice versa, you went to an early dinner and now you're there, they'll work with your schedule. You just let them know, hey, we're leaving in a little bit. But you don't book with your stateroom attendant like a specific time. You just choose morning or evening, and they work around your schedule more or less. Jermaine, thank you for the super chat. Going on Wonder of the Seas in September. Will I be able to go on the Royal Caribbean app and reserve a slot for silent DJ? I can't see it now on the app. Thank you for the super chat. The answer is no, you don't have to. You can't, and you don't have to. For the silent DJ parties, it is first come, first serve. There's no need or opportunity to reserve up for it. Super easy. And you won't have a problem at all. So don't worry about that one bit. Thank you for your super chat, my friend. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Next question. We got some countdowns here. Evanly, 41 days till Allure of the Seas. Can you please explain a side-to-side cruise? And what are your top tips when considering booking one? So a side-to-side is when you book a Royal Caribbean cruise on one ship and then do another cruise on a different ship. Not a back-to-back where you're doing the same ship, different sailings. This is like sailing A and sailing B. Usually side-to-sides are either the same day or like a day apart or two. It's much easier if you have a day or two apart. If you're doing the same day, I've seen this happen like in Miami or Port Canaveral, in which there are 2 Royal Caribbean ships in port that day. Officially, you have to get yourself over from ship A to ship B. So whether you're taking a taxi, walking, probably not, because I can't think of any port in the U.S. where you could walk safely between the two. Taxi, shuttle bus, something like that. Unofficially, Evanly, I have heard on many occasions people go on board ship A and they go to get services, explain what they're doing, and Royal Caribbean has offered them sometimes a complimentary shuttle ride over to ship B. That's not an official policy. It's more of your mileage may vary. So keep that in mind. But it'd be worth asking. But at the very least, you're going to take a taxi. Obviously, if your ship B was in a different port, like Port Canaveral, you started in Port Canaveral, you're going to Fort Lauderdale or Fort Lauderdale to Miami to Fort Lauderdale. you need to work on another means out, whether you're renting a car. It kind of depends on a lot of the specific factors involved with that. Pascal is here from MEI Travel. Welcome, Pascal, and a moderator. You got like collecting every badge and title you can in this stream. Kind of loving these daytime chats. I mean, I liked it. I mean, it's funny. It's 7:30 p.m. here, but I know this 1:30 p.m. doesn't jive for everybody. We have like, wait, 2 more left or 3 more left? 2 more. I think we're doing. No, wait, maybe this is the second to last one. I'm here this week, next week. Yeah, I think this is the second to last daytime one. I'll be back on the East Coast time in not next week, the week after that. So it's coming up soon. But I'm glad you guys some of you are able to join us here. Maybe you can't join us all the time. Todd Weichman is here. Jeff Burns is here. Johnny Rocket is here. Cruiseaholics Anonymous is here. Skylar, what's going on? Ryan Hart, hello. Carter got off Utopia on Friday. I have no cruises booked. What? That's crazy. That's no bueno. Ron Ladowski is here. Micah in the chat. What's up, Micah? Good to see you. Miranda is here. Lots of great countdowns. All right, guys, let us answer your cruise questions. We have 54 minutes left in this chat, more or less. Type your questions in chat. We're going to answer as many Royal Caribbean cruise questions as I possibly can, starting now. Here we go. Jake is going on. I'll be at Coco Key this Thanksgiving. I was wondering if there are any TVs that will have show the NFL games. There is a sports bar. There's only one TV and one sports bar on Coco Key. It's over at Hideaway Beach. So if that's important to you, I would go to Hideaway Beach. You go to the On the Rocks bar. You have to buy admission to Hideaway Beach, obviously. It's the adults only area. But yeah, they would have that. Let's see here. Steve Cohen, do you know how hard it is to make breakfast after doing Independence of the Seas back to back? Brother, do you know how hard it is to pay for like snacks and drinks again after going on a cruise? Yeah, the struggle is real indeed. Let's see here. Cruiseaholics just became a club member. Let's go. Thank you for being a club member. Of course, there's no obligation to do so, but really appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jeff Burns is leaving for Alaska on Friday. So what this really is saying is going on a cruise instead of going on the group cruise that I could have gone on because there was plenty of time in between, but I'm lame and didn't want to go with my friends. I think that's what it translates to. Make it hackin'. Thank you for the super chat. Is there a way to earn Crown and Anchor points besides Night Sail? There's only one other way to earn Crown and Anchor points besides going on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and that is to book a cruise tour. Primarily, you find cruise tours in Alaska. I think they offer like one. I don't even know where the other places they offer them. But these are tours through Royal Caribbean, which you combine a cruise and a land tour. But other than that, no. You can only get Crown and Anchor points by actually going on a Royal Caribbean cruise. You cannot buy points. You cannot trade points. You cannot exchange points. You cannot pay Tony Diaz for points. It's just simply going on a ship. So, yeah. Hello to Bella. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for watching. Jade, what hotel is closest to port, and can we walk from the ship? Good question for Utopia of the Seas. No, you cannot walk. Not safely. There's an overpass, and it's not. There is not. In Florida. I mean, I guess in Tampa there might be a hotel you could walk to. I would advise this. So let me put it this way. Never mind. There is not a hotel that you can walk to from Port Canaveral. There are a series of hotels. The Home 2 Suites, Jade, is really close. Home 2 Suites. There's like a plaza of hotels. I believe it's a Home 2 Suites and maybe a Hilton. If you find Home 2 Suites in Cocoa Beach, you'll see that. I think actually, I think there actually is a closer hotel. There's a Holiday Inn Club Vacations that is actually, I think, closer technically. But all of them are too far to walk. Not to mention the fact, Jade, that you're going to be in Florida where it is 98 degrees and 1,000% humidity. You will die before you got there. Never mind, you probably get run over before that. But no, you got to take either a shuttle or a lift or something like that. Carter, what is my favorite Aqua show? Aqua 80s, for sure. Aqua 80s. We got some super chats coming in here, guys. So let me answer some super chats. Cruiseaholics, thank you for the super chat. I found a Royal Caribbean cruise going to Hawaii. one sailing September 26th. I grabbed that one. Yes, what you found was a Trans-Pacific. When Royal Caribbean does repositioning cruises between North America and Australia, they do repositioning cruises and they break it up into two legs. One leg is between somewhere in North America and Hawaii, and the second leg is between Hawaii and Australia. So you found basically one of those legs right there. So that's why you're only seeing one. Bailey, hello. Glad to have you here from MEI Travel. Welcome. Let's see here. TC, for the dessert and milkshake and Icon, are only the classic shakes and floats included in the deluxe storage package, or nothing at all? Just the classic shakes, correct? The pretty boring ones that don't have any like toppings or anything like that, those are included. Anything else that's like with the pinatas on them, those are not included with the drink package. Justin Oken from MEI Travel is here, at least for now, because if there is a lead that comes in, Justin will drop everything to go book that lead. He's that dedicated to his craft. Hello, Justin. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Let's see here. Next question. Databatic, thank you for the super chat. Chat badges. I like chat badges. Yeah, it's a thing. They rolled them out not too long ago, maybe about a month or two ago now at this point, and yeah, it gets really contentious in here. Ron Ladowski, what's going on, man? Any truth to the rumor that Royal Caribbean is naming the next Icon class ship Hot, like Hot of the Seas? I don't know if this is a joke or a serious question, because Ron usually doesn't have very serious comments in here, but I don't know, Ron. I'm not either. I don't get the joke right. The answer is no. Mark is here. Hello, Mark. Hope you're doing well. Hope all is well in old Canada. Eric Floyd. Eric, thank you for the super chat. Can we reserve seats at the show in the theater? No, you cannot. You can get, though, on Oasis or Quantum or Icon class ships, you can reserve a admission into the show. So for those ships, Eric, you reserve, it's free. Basically an admission, like it's basically not front of the line, but like, you're going to get first dibs in the theater. The actual seats are not reservable unless you are in a star class cabin. If you're in a star class suite, then your genie can reserve a specific seat for you. But assuming that's not the case, then no, you cannot reserve a specific seat, if that makes sense. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. We have some more super chats coming in here. Let me get to all of them. BK Lounge 87, thank you for the super chat. 61 to Icon, 132 to Brilliance. For cruises going to Mexico, will the new port taxes be added to the onboard account if everything is already paid up? I believe so. I remember this happened. I don't know this for a fact, BK Lounge, but I can only tell you that there was a situation, it was like a year or two ago, this happened with the Bahamas, and we got charged on board the ship, the port fees for that one. So hope that answers your question there. I think we have some more super chats in here. Let me get to those. Hey, Chris Snow is here. Hello, Chris. TC, thank you for the super chat. I don't see a message from you, TC, but Tracy Chappell, thank you for the super chat. Can you explain the Royal Beach Club? I don't get the difference from the Cocoa Beach Club going on Star of the Seas December 6th. Good question. So the Royal Beach Club is basically a Royal Caribbean run, owned, and operated shore excursion. The Cocoa Beach Club is an upgrade at Perfect Day at Cocoa Key. So obviously, as I think you know, when you go to Cocoa Key, there's no admission price for the island. You walk off the ship, you're there. It's a Royal Caribbean private walled garden. The Cocoa Beach Club is an optional, like if you want an elevated beach day, you go there. The Royal Beach Club is a totally separate project. You're in Nassau, Bahamas, and you could do all sorts of excursions. Or you could book the Royal Beach Club, which again is like a Royal Caribbean excursion. Within there, you have different areas to go to. I guess in a sense, they're kind of similar if you look at it from that perspective. But basically, the Royal Beach Club, unlike Perfect Day at Cocoa Key, is not included in your cruise fare. Both the Cocoa Beach Club and the Royal Beach Club have admission costs to them, but they also include very different things and have different vibes to them. The Royal Beach Club has a family area. It has a chill area. It has a party area. Cocoa Beach Club has just like an elevated resort feel to it, and it's much smaller. But kids are allowed in all of them, by the way. Doesn't matter if it's Cocoa Beach Club or the Royal Beach Club. Does that answer your question, Tracy? Does that make more sense? Now we had a couple of super chats with no messages here. TC, thank you for the super chat. And Paul Newsom, thank you for the super chat. But I see no messages from you guys. So if I can answer a question for you, I appreciate it. I will do that. If not, I'm happy to thank you for your generosity. Can you please explain the difference between purchasing a room package for 2 people or 1 person with 2 devices? Basically, it comes down to the login. Good question. I think they're talking about the Voom package, which is the internet package. If you buy one package for 2 devices, you can have 2 devices logged in, your iPhone and your computer, let's say. If you buy a 2-device pack, if you buy 2 different devices, then you have 2 different logins. Obviously, still you could have your phone and your computer, but the different login. So you have, user A and user B, if that makes sense. It's not a problem. And in often cases, Beck, or Beck, hey, now I love this name, Beck, hey. With the one device, the 2-device package is usually cheaper than 2 individual devices, and you can share them. It's okay. You can you can buy a 2-device package. You can use it, and your spouse or a friend on board can use it as well. Be logged in. Just you only have 2 devices logged in at once. So if that makes sense. Joshua, for first-time cruisers, would you suggest Oasis or Independence of the Seas? Good. They're both great ships. I pick Oasis. It's a bigger ship, more to do. It's a newer ship. For those reasons, I like that for new cruisers, quite frankly. How does parking work at Port Everglades? I have 2 cruises out of the port, Radiance in April and Allure in June. Just pull in and park. There is, depending on which terminal you go out of, Terminal 18 is the easiest. There's a surface lot right in front of the terminal. If that gets full, they may send you over to the parking garage, which has a complimentary shuttle bus that brings you over there. Either way, there's a place to park nearby. So there are offsite parking options at Port Everglades where you park, outside the cruise terminal somewhere, outside the cruise area in a third-party lot. I don't love third-party lots in general. I think they're while they do save you a little bit of money, and I got to emphasize a little bit, not a lot. I mean, saving like $1.05 a day, something like that. My problem with them is the shuttles that were required to get you there. They run infrequently. I just want to get in and get out, especially when the cruise is over. I don't want to be dealing with a shuttle bus. So for those reasons, I prefer to park at the property, if that makes sense. Okay, next question. Tony. Terry, going on Allure in November with 2 other family members with their own cabins. We've linked our cabins via the app, but how can I ensure we all sit together in the main dining room before getting on board? You can send an email, Terry. First of all, linking the reservations is step 1. So good job. Step 2 is you want to send an email about 2 or 3 weeks before your cruise to rcldining@rccl.com. RCL, Romeo Charlie Lima, dining, all one word, RCL dining at rccl.com. Just put in there, your name, the reservation numbers, the names, stateroom numbers, the ship, and the sail date, and let them know what you want to do. And then when you get on board the ship, Terry, hopefully that'll be set up for you. What I would recommend doing, though, Terry, is when you get on board the ship on embarkation day, go down to the main dining room after lunch and verify that you're all seated where you think you're going to be seated. Let me get a drink of water here. By the way, cheers to Mark McChain. It's not my giant pink bottle this time, but let's see here. Next question is from Anita. Can I get a wine at Empire Supper Club instead of cocktails? I don't believe so. They do allow some substitutions, like obviously if you have a food allergy. But for the drinks, I mean, I don't know. That's good. I don't know if you can or not. Because the cocktails are basically paired. That's the part of the experience, if you will. In the same way that if you're doing chef's table, they give you wine. But you can't ask for a beer instead. I mean, maybe you could. I mean, it's one of those things like, I guess the answer to your question is maybe you could, but I've never heard of it. So yeah, I don't know about that. Next question is from... Oh, hey, Paul. Thank you for the super chat earlier. What are your thoughts on Brilliance of the Seas? I love Brilliance. Actually, one of my favorite ships of all time. It's a Radiance class ship. I mean, Paul, I think you know this, but Brilliance doesn't have like all the whiz bang features of an Oasis class ship or an Icon class ship. But I love Brilliance. I think it's a fun ship to go on. Great itineraries. We're actually going on Brilliance of the Seas in March as part of our Royal Caribbean Blog group cruise coming up next year in March of 2026. So come join us for it. But I love Brilliance. You know, it's a fun ship. It's a classic cruising experience. You won't find water slides on there. There's no zip line. There's no Queen of England. There's they don't have like all the crazy new amazing features that the bigger ships have. But it's a great value. It's a fun ship. Great bars on board. Great layout. So yeah. Dudex going in September to Costa Maya. What do you recommend doing? I'm not sure if they'll be open because I was going to recommend Maya Chan. It's my go-to number one place to go to, Maya Chan. But they're closer in hurricane season, so I bet you they're not open. Maya Chan, by the way, you would book on your own, not through Royal Caribbean. You go to just Google Maya Chan, but I bet you they're closed. If they are closed, my backup option for you is it's really Jaime's, but Jamie's at Blue Reef. Again, not through Royal Caribbean. Just Google Jamie's at Blue Reef. You'll find them. It's a great operation. Both are beach days, all inclusive. They do a great job. So, Bonnie Robertson with the super chat. Hey Matt, the jet lag is fierce today. My wife woke up at what time did she wake up? Like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's a little bit easier. Listen, believe it or not, it will be easier than when you went over to Europe. But hopefully in a day or two you'll feel back to normal. But yeah, jet lag is no joke. At least when you're in jet lag at home, it's not a big deal. You're not missing out on anything if you go to bed at weird times, right? Because you're not like when we were in London and we wanted to explore. Bonnie and I were on the same cruise for the last 2 weeks. Anyway, I'm sorry to hear about that, but glad you are awake for these hours here as we hang out. It is almost 8 o'clock here in Denmark, and yeah, the jet lag is no joke. That's why, I mean, in all seriousness, and Bonnie, I have a good laugh here with this comment. This when I went to Europe, this was my biggest concerns was jet lag. I had this like major fear that we were going to get here and my kids would get jet lagged. They would really screw up our first like 3-4 days. Luckily, it didn't happen. I think we managed it quite well. But yeah. Let's see here. Joelle, can you help me? Taking Utopia of the Seas for 4 days. Booked the ship because it sails on my husband's 21st birthday. Now people are telling me it's a party ship. I have a 21-year-old, and now I'm nervous. Don't be nervous, Joelle. Let me tell you something. It is, by Royal Caribbean's own admission, they would tell you it's like the biggest weekend party, all that, blah, 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 blah. Joelle, let me tell you something. I have been on Utopia many times. I am not, believe it or not, I know you're looking at me, you're like, wow, this guy must be the biggest party animal of all time. He looks like Brad Pitt. He exudes charisma, machismo, the coolest guy probably in the world. I know. But believe it or not, it's not the case. I don't enjoy those things. I am not a party guy. They do have a toga party and silent DJ party and all sorts of like crazy pool parties. Joel, I never go to any of those. I hang out elsewhere. Basically, there are parties on board, but you don't have to go to them if you don't want to. I find that you can find other areas of the ship that are simply not going to have the party. As an example, on Sailaway, where's the party? Up on the pool deck. So either don't go near the pool deck or stay in the kids area of the pool deck. I know you have a 21-year-old, so it's quite a little bit different there to do that. But you can find quiet areas is my point there. So I wouldn't worry about it. I think you'll find it much more manageable than it sounds. So hopefully, I hope that, puts your mind at ease a little bit. Tracy, I'm going to do Legend of the Seas in 2027. What's your feeling on letting Royal Caribbean pick your room? I don't love the guarantee. I love the price of a guarantee cabin, which is what you're talking about, to pick your room. The problem is, Tracy, you've got to be really good with getting a bad location. So what I mean by that is you might end up with a cabin that is all the way forward or all the way in the back, which may, not necessarily, but may be problematic if you're sensitive to motion sickness, because all the way forward, all the way back is where you find more motion. You could get a room that is located under a public venue, like the pool or a dining room, and there could be a lot of noise in weird hours of the morning, keeping you awake. you may or may not. Also, you could also bring, earplugs, and then problem solved. My point is that this is the problem with guaranteed cabins. When Royal Caribbean picks your room, what they're really doing is they're leaving you with the unsold cabins, the rooms that nobody else wanted to book. Sometimes for a good reason, sometimes because the ship just isn't selling as well. I'm not saying that you're going to get a bad room, Tracy. So don't let me scare you with that. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to be realistic with you. So you have to accept that reality if that's okay with you. Some people don't care. Some people are like, Tony Diaz can fall asleep anywhere, so he doesn't care. Other people might care. That's kind of how you have to look at it. Let's see here. Casey, going on, could be Adventure, Allure, Anthem. Can you explain the bidding process on cabin? Sure. So Cassie, sorry, Cassie. I think it's Cassie. Sorry about that. Basically, the way it works is Royal Caribbean says, if this room were available, how much would you bid for it? Doesn't mean the room is actually available, Cassie, but if someone were to cancel or the room were to go unsold, how much more would you bid for it? Now, the problem is, Cassie, you can't see what anybody else bid. You can't see if the room is actually available in the first place. It's really a backup system for the cruise line that if someone were to cancel the last minute, that you could then pay more to move into that room. You'll get a sliding scale of prices, a minimum and a maximum. How much should you bid? Honestly, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I remember I did an article about this. I asked a bunch of travel agents at MEI Travel, and I said, in your experience, is there any pattern or logic to how a bid is accepted or not? And every single agent said the same thing. It doesn't matter what you bid. It's all luck. So, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Adam, first timer from the UK, not missed one of these on catch up for a year though. Are Royal Caribbean rolling out middle dinner times across the fleet? Didn't see it as an option in Liberty. This should be out already. Because they did that like last year. So I'm surprised you can't see it. I mean, it could be sold out, I suppose, Adam. Ask your travel agent. My understanding is at this point, it should be on every single ship. Because again, it's been a while. Lucas, have I been on Allure this season? This was renovated. I have not, but our staff member, Jenna, went on there. We have a full ship tour, Lucas, of Allure of the Seas and what's different on this channel. If you want to go check it out for yourself. It's right here in Royal Caribbean blog. We posted that video back in April. Let's see here. Turpin Touch. What do you suggest to do for a day in Cozumel? Paradise Beach is what I recommend. Go to the beach. Paradise Beach is not booked through Royal Caribbean. You have to Google it, but I love what they do there. I've been going there for years and years and years. It is really, really good. By the way, big shout out to I see Scary's in the chat. I met Scary for the very first time on Independence of the Seas last week and the week before that. So hope you're doing well, Rich. Hope it was a pleasure to meet you. Chris Songs in September cruising on Ovation of the Seas in Long Beach. Any tips for that? I was recently on there. I also did a video about what it's like to cruise out of there. I think depending on which itinerary you're doing, that's the bigger question. Because if you're going to like Ensenada, I would definitely, no matter which port you're doing, you need to plan ahead. I think most of those ports, if not all of them, are really conducive to planning ahead. Cabo, Ensenada, Catalina, you want to have a plan, like shore excursions booked, as opposed to meandering around, walking around without a plan. I think these are ports that definitely require planning ahead. Let's see here. Next question. Good questions, guys, so far. Can you reserve a wheelchair for Coquille? No, but they're available. Don't worry, Millie. They won't run out. Basically, when you get to the beach areas, there's those beach wheelchairs available there. So you're good to go. Next question. There are no discount codes for Paradise Beach. There were like years ago when they partnered with us for that. But basically, they got abused, not from you guys, but from like random coupon websites. So Paradise Beach never brought those back out. So there are no discount codes that I am aware of at this point. Let's see here. I noticed that the Royal Caribbean Badge app has Dubai as a destination to cruise from. Do you know when they'll be releasing sailings? They're not. That's like past things, Evanly. In the past, they offered cruises from Dubai, But given the geopolitical situation right now, and has been the case for a number of years now, I highly, highly, highly doubt we'll see any anytime soon. So it's really, that badge is for folks that took ones back in the day. Oh, Pomco says you can substitute wine at the supper club. I've done this multiple times. Just advise the hosts when you sign up for the dinner. There you go. Thank you, Pomco. I learned something today. Appreciate it. Carter says Utopia is not a party ship for me personally. I think it's just marketing. I think there's some truth to that. I think you're absolutely right that marketing plays a part in it. I think there's some folks who, how do I say this politely? I think there are some folks who don't like. I think there's just some folks who don't appreciate Utopia of the Seas. I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, I think I'll have a fine time on there. Let's see here. Can you bring a 12-pack of soda on board? Yes, you can on embarkation day. Yep. Rich, have you ever done a video article about the more unique cabins found on some ships? Yes, we've definitely done articles, and I think we've done a video about it. Just for you. I know I've done articles about it because I'm pretty sure I updated it recently. Unique cabins. Yep. Rich, start off with I'll post the link in the chat. Once the chat. Oh my god, my computer. There we go. Hold on. Almost there. Woo! Okay. Now it's in the chat. Let's check it on out there, Rich. Hopefully that helps you out there. Next question is from Aaron Hicks. Do you get the loyalty points for the suite if you win the bid? If you booked, good question. If you booked below a suite, like a balcony, and you were moving up to a suite, no, you don't get double points because you didn't originally purchase a suite. Now, if you're going from obviously a grand suite to a owner's suite, yes, you would, because you were already starting off there. Let's see. What do I think about Rhapsody of the Seas? You know, there's a ship for everybody. There is not one ship in the fleet I would ever tell you guys, hey, don't go on this ship. Rhapsody, obviously being an older, smaller ship, it's just a matter of expectations, Michelle. Like, does it have the things that you want on board? That's, I think, the most important thing. Josh Albertson coming with a super chat. Thank you, Josh. Going straight to your question now. Hey, Matt. After experiencing the Austin as sailing from LA, do you think Royal Caribbean regrets not stationing the Legend of the Seas there? I feel like they dropped the ball. I don't think so at all. I think they would. If Royal Caribbean was here, Josh, they would say, we love LA, we love West Coast cruises. We're so good to see that that people love it here and you loved it here. But yeah, we're going to make a lot more money with it over in Florida and Europe. They might not say that last part, but yeah. And Josh, part 2 of 2, kind of like Aaron Judge in the 5th inning, go Dodgers. Oh goodness, thank you, Josh, for the super chat. Glad to hear you had a good time on Ovation. WDW guy, thank you for the super chat. Back to back ahead, 56 days till freedom, 62 to star. What's your go-to? Offsite parking, Cape Canaveral. I don't have any. I don't like offsite parking. I'll be honest with you. I just don't think it saves you barely any money and adds so much more complexity. Just adds like more time. Like you got to sit there and get on a shuttle and wait for the shuttle to leave, and it's filled up. And then when you have to come back, like ain't nobody got time for that. I want to go on my ship ASAP, and I want to get off my ship ASAP, and I don't want to waste time in shuttles. So call me old crudgety old man. I just ain't nobody got time for that. Lucas, in your personal experience, what have you seen? What have you been assigned your guaranteed balcony room? Most recently, I was on Enchantment of the Seas at a guaranteed balcony. It was fine. I mean, I don't remember it being, I don't think, oh, you know what it is? Actually, Lucas, here's the catch. In almost every situation, I've had a guaranteed cabin, whether it's a balcony or an inside, I get a connecting room, meaning there's a connecting door that I don't know the person on the other side of the room. And that could be a noise issue. Luckily, I've not had many issues with noise bleed, but that's probably the biggest downside, quite frankly. Chris Sales, first cruise was huge success. I'm already pre-addicted to cruising, and now I'm actually addicted to it. Oh, and the ATV excursion Costa Maya was awesome. Nice. Chris, I've never heard of this ATV excursion. Let me know. Send me an email or a Facebook message about that. I'd love to hear, look into it more because I was looking for new excursion ideas. Let's see here. Brian, I'm curious. Have you ever missed a cruise due to illness? We did. My wife, actually, I missed 2 cruises because of illness. In 2022, we were supposed to do a back-to-back. Yeah, we were. We were supposed to do a back-to-back on in Alaska on Serenade of the Seas, and I got COVID on leg 1, so we didn't go on cruise 2. And then last year, was it last? No, this past year, this past New Year's Eve, we were supposed to do a back-to-back on Voyager of the Seas. My wife got sick, and we did not do the second leg. When you in 2022 it was easy because Royal Caribbean had a lot of COVID policies and they made it super simple. But these days, if you miss a cruise because of illness, if you have a travel insurance, basically you're covered, or you can be covered if it's a covered reason for it. So I hope that makes sense. But basically, I mean, what happens if one of us has a cough or sniffles? I mean, you've got to do your own due diligence there, I guess, to make a gut call on, like, are they allergies? Do you have a cold, or do you have a communicable disease or illness, I should say? Like, if you have a cold, it's very different than if you have the flu or COVID or RSV or something else that is like, not only is it going to make you miserable, but you're going to spread it. And more likely, not only will you spread it to other people, like your family members, then everybody else, and then they get it. And it's a miserable experience. When we were on Voyager of the Seas, my wife we went down to the medical. I think she had like a combination of the flu and crud. And it was like, we were in the situation where, like, okay, we're on the ship and we have a crew, we have a back-to-back. And our concern was, she's feeling like death right now, but she'll feel better in 2 or 3 days, which is exactly when cruise 2 would begin. But what if I got sick from her? What if my kids got sick from her? And then we're repeating this process and no one's enjoying the cruise. Because it's like when she was sick and she's sitting in the room by herself, I feel bad. I mean, yeah, I can leave the room and go do things, but like, besides the possibility of me being sick and or spreading germs, it's more like I felt bad for her. So we decided that because she was sick, A, and B, we were worried about other things, we decided to cancel. So the answer to your question, Brian, is you got to make that decision for yourself. But I hope my experience shed some light on the thought process there. But if you are sick, if you are truly sick, you shouldn't go on the cruise. Cancel it, no show to it. Call your travel insurance and let them ask them what they need from you to get the claim in process there. We have some super chats coming in here. Let me get to those, or that one or two. Tom Sinnard, thank you for the super chat, Tom. Countdown for ratings in Alaska in 11 days. Grand Suite booked with a hub balcony. Thanks for the tip. My partner is gold and I'm diamond. How does that work on board loyalty benefits? You get your gold benefits, your partner gets your diamond benefits. This is a common, I don't say misconception, but people ask me this a lot. If you're in a room with somebody with higher benefits than you, that's not like your spouse, you don't get their benefits. So, and this is a great example. Your partner, now, if your partner, by the way, Tom, if your partner is diamond, like you live together, I would call Royal Caribbean. You don't have to be married to establish a relationship. So basically, you just call Royal Caribbean and say, hey, this is my partner. We live together. We want to establish a relationship with you guys, with Royal Caribbean. And then you would be gifted, or what's the word? Not gifted. You get to move up to the highest level, which is diamond in this case with your partner. As an example, my wife has less points than me, but because we're married, she gets my status. Does that make sense? But Tom, if you were sharing a cabin with a friend, not your partner, just a random friend, and you're gold and they're diamond, you would not get their diamond benefits. But if you don't have a relationship on paper, Tom, that with Royal Caribbean, not the federal government, but with the Royal Caribbean, you won't get the benefits. So you need to make sure you establish that relationship. Good question. We have another super chat coming in from CRC Rafe. Thank you for the super chat. For my 50th birthday, retransition Harmony back to Florida or an Alaska cruise. Harmony is cheaper, sailing with husband and teenage daughter. I'm going to say Alaska. I love Harmony. I love long sailings, but Alaska is a heck of a lot more interesting than a repositioning cruise. I'm going to say that. I feel like Alaska is a must-do. It's a little bit more difficult to get to Alaska for a lot of folks. So I feel like you could always do a transatlantic repositioning cruise, whereas cruises are a little harder to come by because of the distance required with them. But I would definitely do Alaska first. Never mind the amazing things to do on it, but I would do Alaska without a shadow of a doubt. Or more importantly, do both. Even better. Ryan Washak, thank you for the super chat. Royal Caribbean did a great job improving the Icon class from what they learned from the Oasis class. What things do you hope they continue to improve with their next class ships? Also, Addie says hi. Hi, Addie. How are you? Thank you for watching, Addie. You're my favorite viewer. You know, Tony Diaz used to be my favorite. You're my favorite now, Addie. So what things do you hope they improve on with their next class of ships? Well, if the rumor mill is true, Ryan, then the next class of ships are going to be the Discovery class, which are the smaller ships. And I say smaller because they're not going to be 3,000 passengers or 2,000 passengers. They're probably going to be I think 4,000. But anyway, I digress. Things they improve on. I hope they continue to improve casual dining. I think Royal Caribbean has been on a very good journey so far with evolving its casual, complimentary dining experiences. It wasn't too long ago, you still find this on some ships, where all you had for an afternoon snack near the pool was the Windjammer. And slowly but surely, they've moved in the right direction. They added El Loco Fresh. They added fish and chips. They've added the Aquadel Market, which is fantastic. I'm getting choked up thinking about Aquadel. I hope they continue that path, that journey to add better. They added on Utopia of the Seas, the spare tire. I want to see more of those complimentary grab and go type experiences. Also on Icon, they have base camp. So keep that going would be a great thing to see right there. I think do we have another super chat? We do. Clark Cabus. Clark, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Will Star of the Seas first non-media sailing be 816, be a limited capacity sailing, and will rooms be ready as soon as you arrive? I don't believe it'll be limited capacity. I could be wrong, but I have no reason to believe that. I've not heard anything yet to that effect, Clark. When Royal Caribbean started Icon of the Seas up, you're right, they did do limited capacity, but that was the first in the class. When it's the first in the class, they're trying to figure everything out. They're not quite sure how it all works. This is Star. They already know everything about Icon, and Star is very similar. I don't expect it to be. Now, granted, I haven't specifically asked, hey, Michael Bailey, will it be limited capacity? We'll see. But I have no reason to believe at this time that it will. And the reason why Icon did, again, is because it was the first in the class. Star is not. As an example, Clark, when they've launched Utopia or Wonder, well, Wonder was different because of COVID, but when they launched Utopia of the Seas, they didn't have limited capacity. So on its first sailing. So I hope that makes sense. Cool. Thank you guys for the super chats. You guys are amazing. Parker checking in from the Bamboo Room on Navigator of the Seas. Nice. Cruise Chris. I now love cruising so much that I've changed my YouTube avatar. What do you think? Looks great, my friend. Looks great. Love cruising. Love fans of cruising. You're in good company over here. Jan says, or Jan, I don't know if it's pronounced it. Is it a huge risk to do Explore Park in Mexico through a third-party provider while docked in Cozumel? $300 per person through Royal for our Star Sailing, which is twice the cost of park admission. When you're going to the mainland, if you're going to the mainland, like Playa del Carmen, then I would say yes, there is a risk. That ferry service in particular is notoriously bad in terms of weather conditions affecting it and delaying it. I wouldn't do it personally. If it's on the island of Cozumel, no, you'd be fine. It's so easy to get taxis in Cozumel on the island that, you could, I want to say you could run back to the ship, but I mean, you could easily get back. I wouldn't worry about it. I rarely, if ever, book an excursion through Royal Caribbean if I'm doing something on Cozumel. If you're going to the mainland, I would definitely do a Royal Caribbean excursion because of that ferry service. Cynthia, which travel insurance do you recommend? So there are a number of companies out there, and Cynthia, I wish it was simpler. It's not as simple as it sounds. It's more like car insurance because there's all sorts of coverages out there, and policies that correlate to what's important to you and your family. So there's a lot of great companies out there. It's more a question of what are you looking for in your coverage to match that up. My recommendations for you, Cynthia, is go to like a website like travelinsurance.com or insuremytrip.com, and they can provide a better idea, better like this is the right plan for you kind of thing. They're just aggregators, and they help find you in the right place. Let's see here. Ronald, that's a good joke. Christopher Song, what is the private departure lounge, gold member perk, and does Long Beach have one? It's not really a lounge, Chris. I know it sounds like it's really exciting. You know what it is? They just picked a venue on board, like the pub, and they're like, you can go there. Basically, I'm going to say this: it's really not a benefit. They basically picked out a venue and said you could go in there. By the way, no one will check that you're a gold member. No one will care. But theoretically, it's a dedicated place you can go to hang out and wait. It's really a relic of an old time in which your crown and anchor status actually mattered for when you could disembark the ship. I don't think it matters at all. I can't even remember the last time I cared about that particular benefit. I don't say it's meaningless, but it's meaningless. So, but basically all they do is they just pick out a venue and they say you can go wait there if you need to wait for your luggage tag number. Norbert, I'm currently 18 years old and from Europe. Do you have a recommendation for a European cruise with Royal Caribbean? I'd love to do a Caribbean cruise, but unfortunately it's 21 plus. I just did 2 great ones out of Southampton, so I'd recommend those, Norbert. I did a 8-night Northern European cruise and a 7-night Norwegian Fjords cruise. Both were fantastic. I love those. If that's a little too cold for you, then do one out of Barcelona on like, say, Allure of the Seas this summer. Voice and video are just slightly off from each other. I can fix that. I mean, the audio might sound worse now, but I can fix that. How about now? Now they're coming out of my camera. Maybe it's not as crisp audio-wise, but let me know if that sounds a little bit better there, or looks a little bit better, I should say. I would argue what you see is utterly meaningless. I'm sitting in a hotel room. I'm not really doing anything except for moving my arms like crazy, but basically the audio is more important than the video. We're not, anyway, I digress. Barbara Hollinsworth. Barbara, thank you for the super chat. I don't see a message from you, Barbara. Barbara. Oh, going to Alaska for the first time. Any suggestions on what to do? That's easy. Using a rollator walker to get around. So, because you have mobility issues, I would recommend definitely like a Royal Caribbean bus tour. I usually slam bus tours, but you have mobility issues. Bus tours are fantastic for that. So I would recommend one of those tours you can book through Royal Caribbean. Just look for whichever one visits places that are of interest to you. My top choice there. And Cruise Chris, thank you for the super chat. New avatar and super chat right there. Love it. Thank you, Chris, for that. I don't see a message from you, Chris, but thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Next question is from Jack Quayle. Is that right? What are some advice to travel light with carry-ons on a 3 and 4 day cruise? Reuse pants, number 1. Nobody remembers that you wore the same pair of jeans 2 days in a row. You can easily do that. So, for like dinners, reuse, 1 pair of jeans equals 2 days. Shorts, same thing. Pants don't get nearly as soiled as shirts do. So that's number 1. Number 2, you could do laundry on board. Hang on a second, guys.
Hello, sir.
Hey,
a little late.
No worries. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. My fan is here. You could do laundry. I mean, for a 3 or 4 night cruise, probably don't have to but it takes like a day for laundry to come back, so it's probably not practical. But I would tell you reuse clothing as much as you can. You can do laundry in your sink. Bring a detergent packet with you. But yeah, reusing clothing is the name of the game, quite frankly. JS, is there a big difference between a junior suite and a spacious balcony? Not much. A junior suite, I've often said, is basically a big balcony. The biggest difference between a junior suite and a spacious balcony, you get double crown and anchor points for a junior suite. You will have a bathtub in a junior suite, and you'll have upgraded toiletries. But from space-wise, not much. It's noticeable, but not that much. Let's see here. R. Crawford. Hey, Matt, trying to switch from self-driven to MEI, but I didn't know that you only have 30 days to switch to an agent. Any recommendations for not being the cruise planner now that I'm beyond 30 days? You could sometimes MEI can still do it. It's more like on a case-by-case basis. So if you've heard that's the policy, which you're correct on, you might still reach out and see if they can do something for you. If not, basically at this point, if you're on your own, you're on your own. And it's not the end of the world. I mean, you can easily still plan a cruise on your own, but for the future, you should definitely, do that in going forward. But it's not the end of the world. Just take advantage of all the tips and advice we have here on our channel throughout all our videos. I think you'll be off to a good start. If you watch every single video we have, I'm sure you'll be well prepared regardless. Kenny is here, my neighbor Kenny. Hello, Kenny. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Did I bring the printer with me? I did not bring the printer with me. Let's see. By the way, someone said here, oh, Ronald, I am not on a cruise ship. I'm in a hotel. So that's why I got a fan over there. Micah just got off Ovation to the Seas, beautiful ship, but all glass everywhere. So at night turns to mirror and can't see out at ocean anywhere. Was disappointed. Does Royal Caribbean want focus inside ship? No, I think the two are not related. You're absolutely right, because this happens in your house too, right? If you have all the lights on, you can't see outside your window at night because of the glare from the window and the lights. I think it's just I think if Royal Caribbean was here, they'd probably say, listen, throughout the day you can see out there, and then at night, yeah, you're right, but hey, at least you had a nice view in the daytime. I think is probably what they would say to you. Yes, junior suites do have a coffee machine. That is another benefit to staying in a junior suite. Overall, I don't know that I would say that, I think I've said this before. I wouldn't necessarily book a junior suite because of its merits. In a lot of cases, people book junior suites because they think it's actually a suite. It's not. It's really just an extra large balcony room. There are reasons to book a junior suite. Most notably, when the price difference between a junior suite and a balcony is not that much more. Now, how much is not that much? Well, that depends on your own personal preferences. $100 a day, $200 a day. Kind of depends what your budget is like and all those things, quite frankly. But yeah. David, does Port Canaveral have a separate suite entrance and or lounge like Port of Miami? Yes, it does. They don't have a separate entrance. Like Miami, you walk in and then you go up a separate elevator, and that's much more curated. In Port Canaveral, you have a separate suite line for security, and then when you get to the actual past the check-in area, they have a separate seating area. So it's not quite as the same thing, David, but yes, they do. It's just not as separated. Galveston has one that's like Miami, even more so than Miami, in fact. Tom Hooley in the house. Up, Tom? Welcome. Michelle, what do you think about that French mayor? It's a fun port. I was surprised Voyager had trouble. I think the mayor was just grandstanding. When you want to make a political statement and you invite the media there, that's grandstanding. If you want to affect change, I think, call me old school, then you do that through the means of which your office provides you. You don't need to have a camera crew with you in order to do that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with tooting your own horn after you do that, after the fact. But when you sit there and make a political gesture, like you bring the camera crew, I mean, it seems like it's more about grandstanding than it is actually making a change, especially because I'm sure he already knew that nothing was going to happen because of that. David Tamara, is it mid to late February good cruise to the Caribbean for Miami? Yeah, it can be. February is a great time. It will be 20 degrees Celsius hot day. Yeah, it'll be plenty warm for you. The great thing about February, especially late February, is first of all, it's not hurricane season. It's the dry season in the Caribbean. So that means it's probably not going to rain, probably. So yeah, it's a pretty good time to go. I love going in January and February in general to the Caribbean because the temperatures and the humidity are far more manageable than the rest of the year. John just got up Grandeur over the weekend, first cruise ever, and we're hooked. What ship would you recommend next? Oh my goodness. I mean, you've done Grandeur. I would do Oasis of the Seas next, John. It's a great ship. I mean, it's going to be quite a difference, quite frankly, but yeah, you'll love it. Andrew, 12 days till Icon. Do I need to go with my son to sign him up for the social 020, or can he sign himself up? I think the teens can sign themselves up. Adventure Ocean need the parent there, but I think teens can do it on their own. Also, where's the Voom desk on Icon? They were supposed to get rid of the Voom desk on Icon, but it'll be on the Royal Promenade. Oh, actually, I know where it is, Andrew. It's up on deck 6 behind the Pearl. So if you're at Pearl Cafe, yeah, Pearl Cafe, which is on deck 6. If you're at Pearl Cafe and you turn around and you have the Pearl to your left, it's straight ahead of you. It's basically right behind the Pearl on deck 6. Jay, yes. I mean, I'm in Europe still, so for a couple of weeks here, we're doing these at 1:30 p.m. We'll do this again next week at 1:30 p.m. But then the week after, Jay, we're back to the normal schedule again. So yeah, sorry about the mix up there. And yes, I am in Denmark. Let's see here. Attending the port shopping William Sailway party. I'm gonna say this, check out. Don't go to the port shopping. It's basically a sales pitch from shops that paid Royal Caribbean to be mentioned. It's not an insider like, hey guys, this is the best deals out there. It's a waste of your time. Truly. I would not waste my time going to that. I think it's probably one of the biggest waste times on the cruise ship. Other than when I was on Enchantment of the Seas, my neighbor Kenny and I, we went to, what was it, Kenny? Like getting to know Enchantment or something like that, like for first timers. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this will be interesting. Our first, who knows? This is kind of, I've never been on Enchantment of the Seas. Maybe they'll have a tip or two. And it was literally guys like walking through, like, this is your SeaPass card. Here's your room number. Like, I mean, it was like, there's basic stuff, and then there's like basic of basic of basic. Anyway, yeah, don't go to the port shopping thing. Jeff, what ship would you recommend for your first Royal Caribbean cruise? Icon of the Seas. Icon of the Seas. And thank you. Teens did sign up on their own. At least our kids did. You're absolutely right about that. Tolaya, how do I get my new husband diamond status? Congratulations. I assume new husband means you just got married. Can you get in time for our first cruise together in October? Yes. You have to call Crown and Anchor Society, Tolaya. So just call Royal Caribbean, Crown and Anchor Society. And their number, Crown and Anchor Society phone number. Because I know there's a lot of scams out there for phone numbers. But it is 1-800-526-9723. I'll post it in the chat. And you just give them a call and they'll set you up. Confident Kylie, is there a big difference between Oasis and Symphony despite the age? No, mostly it is entertainment and dining on board. Different restaurants, different shows. That's the primary difference between those kind of ships. Does Symphony of the Sea still have WoW bands? They do indeed, yes. We got a super chat coming in here. Mark Robertson. Mark, thank you for the super chat. Did I give a question here, Mark, or just supporting the chat? Either way, Mark Robertson. Oh, I don't see a message from you, buddy, but thank you for the super chat. Keep an eye out in the next 2 minutes we have left over here. Michelle, where do you find the sushi making class to book it? It's under dining, I believe. Actually, but yeah, it's under dining, right? It's not. No, I take that back. It's under activities. They'll have it over there. So yeah. Oh, there it is. Final question today is from Mr. Mark Robertson. Mark, thank you for the super chat earlier. Would you recommend Maya Chan for toddlers? Yes. We will be there Christmas Day and want to confirm that it works for him. Absolutely. We brought our kids there when they were toddlers. They have beach toys. There's a pool. Absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate, Mark, to bring a toddler and book them as well to go there. So absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Next week, we will be back with you again at 1:30 p.m. Eastern in a different place. I can't talk about it yet, but you'll see where I am next week. But thank you all so much for your generosity, for your support today. Always appreciate it. You guys are amazing. We had such great viewership and huge support with the super chats and the memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until then, all have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.